Hopefully you can all hear me and you can all see my screen. The field service construction screen should be up. If you're having any problems viewing my screen or hearing, just type in the little GoToMeeting chat, or hopefully not having a problem hearing because you won't hear me say this. And Keith is listening and he's going to answer any questions you guys have as I'm going through the presentation. Okay, so we've only got half an hour, so let's get started. So in this session, what I particularly want to cover is field service in the construction industry and what the Microsoft Dynamics solution can provide you all. Now, really when we talk about Microsoft's solution around field service and anything service related, it's all about trying to provide care everywhere is their vision. So, you know, how can we improve the service we're offering through opening up all the different channels that are available to us, which ultimately then allows us to be focusing on, you know, what our jobs are and being out more often actually, you know, on the project site or in the field. So, and this is opened up by being able to do things like case management, knowledge management, having business process flows through the system that are guiding you through a process that you want your employees to follow, dependent on the job that they're doing or the work that they're doing, and you know, and having a strong mobile platform that allows you to get out in the field and to be able to provide the same level of service as if you're sitting on your desktop or your computer finding out about the customer, but also in the field. So when we look at what we're trying to achieve here is, you know, and how we're really just trying to improve efficiency and profitability. Now, 73% of customers are saying that they value their time as the most important element. And, you know, we all know that. Everyone is so busy these days. So we want to make sure that any sort of interaction that we're having with the customer and whenever we're providing any sort of service, whether it be a part of a large construction project or a post-site visit, that we're providing efficient and value to them, efficient service and value to them. 65% of incoming service requests typically require a field service visit or some sort of visit. Now, the goal is to actually reduce the amount of time that you actually need to go out into the field and also to reduce the number of times that people are actually calling you up because, you know, if people can self-service through a knowledge base online or if we're able to answer questions directly on the phone or if people are able to raise their own requests through a portal or an interface where they see information, you know, I mean, that cuts down a large cost overhead. But if we are having, you know, resulting in going out into the field, we need to make sure we have the right information. And currently about 26% of those require follow-up visits. Now, follow-up visits are when things start to become expensive. So the more effective or the more accurate the information that field agent has when they go out, your people in the field, you know, hopefully the better service they're able to provide until we can reduce this number. Now, so what's top of mind of the construction industry? So customer first, you know, it's a very competitive market out there. Sometimes the margins and things that, you know, we're actually making on these projects is, you know, it's not very big. And so, you know, we need to, and there is a lot of competition. So, you know, how do we provide that competitive advantage? We want to make sure that there's that personal element to the customer. Just like many other industries, it's facing a skill shortage. So how do you ensure the resources you have you're using effectively? And also, it's an area that needs to increase its efficiency, and cash flow is very important. So a lot of work in the construction industry is done on completion of the work, of payment, and finding out about the fact that that work has been completed or that visit has been done, that the site visit has been, you know, gone through and everything followed correctly is really key. The sooner we can find that out, the sooner we can automate our processes to be billing. So if we can have everyone working through the same system, we're going to have direct, immediate increased efficiencies, and it's going to have a direct impact on our cash flow. So thinking about all those sorts of you know, areas where we want to focus on and there's opportunities for improvement, what then are the capabilities of Microsoft Dynamics? So we deliver an intelligent, world-class field service solution and project service solution. Now, the key functionality that it's able to provide is that it can provide scheduling, more efficient scheduling, mobility, and it's key, and one of the backbone elements to it is that it really looks at resource utilisation in a way where we're trying to maximise efficiency and minimise costs. We also have integrated project management. So what I mean by that is if you're doing like a large construction job, or you're doing have a large project plan of work happening, or perhaps you just have a lot of field service visits or jobs that are dependent on each other, you can manage that through Microsoft project style view, and you can be, as certain fields visits are finished, execute for the next jobs to be done. So you can also be managing a bit more like a traditional Microsoft project style. And because it's through this single platform where all your operational users, so from the point of a salesperson doing a quote and sending out an offer, to a perhaps a call center representative, to a person in the field, to a project manager, to a delivery manager, to a manager, all using the same system and all recording their information in the same system across multiple interfaces, so multiple devices, we then result in having improved billing. Because we're not chasing people when it comes time to our billing cycle. All the information is there. Everything's going through controlled business process flows, which require approval at the right stages. So our whole billing cycle becomes much more efficient and can even be automated. And because of this, our costs of management are lower. Okay, so there's 3 areas I specifically sort of want to focus on today. And the first one is really around like smarter scheduling. So how does our system allow you guys to be able to dispatch your field workers in a more optimized way? The other is the mobile field capabilities. You know, it's really key. You're in an industry where people aren't behind a desk all day. They need to be out in the field, and you know, what is that mobile experience offering them? And then the other key element is our optimized resource utilization. And this is really where you can see true cost savings. Okay, so let's just have a quick chat about smarter scheduling. So what we're able to do is we're able to ensure that when a piece of work comes through, we're scheduling the right equipment, the right resource with the right skills and characteristics, in the right location, in the right working hours, and also considering when that job or task needs to be completed. So this could be driven by service level agreements that you may have. It could, or it could be driven by a greater project plan and dependencies. But what's really key about this is that these drivers for the customer can be set up unique to them. So you can set up unique SLA requirements against a customer, a contract, or a project. And this is then what allows you to then schedule these jobs more effectively. You have this great drag and drop style schedule board that allows you to not just schedule jobs and move jobs around and view the, I guess the changes of the day. So you'll notice here, perhaps let me jump back to this one. You'll notice here that a green job is complete, and you know this dark blue one has just started, and the colours up the top here are showing the estimated travel time, the actual travel time. Then also get this map over to the side where I can see all the jobs that have been scheduled for the day, like all the tasks and where they're located, but I can also see my technicians. So I can also be tracking, or engineers, sorry, whatever their title may be, and I can track where they are on the map as well. So that also assists in me reacting to changes that may occur in the day. I can also block out, so we can see Tim here has like a typical work hours perhaps of, you know, 8 to 5, but you know, I can block out time because perhaps he's unavailable then. I don't want to actually schedule him for project works or field service works because he's in training or something. So we're able to also schedule directly from him, and I can drag and drop items around, And I can also get this visualization view, this deep dive view into what this particular job is about. So everything here is around visibility. So I'm getting visibility of what's actually happening. So I can get visibility of my customer, I can get visibility of the work, and I can also get visibility of my resources. So this helps us to do, I guess, more effective scheduling, but also be more reactive to our customers' needs. Now, our mobile capability is, it's really quite key to the whole solution. Now, when mobility came about, it really opened up, what industries like construction could provide. We can now be very nimble in how we're responding to issues. We have more information at our fingertips when we're on site with a customer, and we can also be keeping our business up to date on what we're up to. Now, the mobile solution that we offer works across the 3 major platforms of iOS, Android, and Windows, and it works on a phone and a tablet. It's got some great functionality, so you'll see here that we can view visually, this is a map while I'm on the mobile client of, where, this is just showing where all my accounts are, but I could also see a log of my work for the day of what I need to do. And I can even do things like, scanning barcodes of products that I've sold or adding onto a job, or I can take photos, I can take signatures, all natively through the mobile client. What's really key about this, though, is I can choose what I expose to someone. So, this is built to a very touch-based sort of design. So, I'm wanting to see things very quickly and easily. I don't want to be, writing a massive long essay while I'm in the field. So we can actually configure this and design it to what is important for your business, what is important for your field workers to see front and center when they open up the job. And it's just through configuration. So it's a really key added feature. You don't have to go and start into a custom development process for creating an app specific to your business. It's just achieved through configuration. The next really key element that, which is a real differentiator is that we're able to do optimized resource scheduling. Now, what optimized resource scheduling is it allows for you to automatically schedule jobs. So remember I spoke about how we could schedule jobs based on a resource's skills, location and work hours, and the customer's preferences. Well, we can actually automate this. And what these optimizers do is they run as frequently as you'd like them to, and they're continually optimizing the schedule to, and they have a concept of having drivers and constraints. So a constraint, for example, would be, okay, well, I have to assign someone who has the right skills and who's working at that time, as an example. A driver could be, okay, I want the person with I want the jobs at the highest priority, or they're about to miss their SLA, or for my gold customers first, or done first, and another driver could potentially, and you can rate these drivers about what's important. And then your secondary driver might be, okay, but I'm trying to reduce travel time. I want to reduce travel time and mileage, so that could be a secondary priority. And so what the optimizer is doing is it makes sure it always meets the constraints, and then it tries to maximize on the drivers. And so you can see here on the schedule board here how everything's, the driving time is actually much more reduced as to what's been estimated, because it's going and working out the most optimal solution of how could we allocate all these jobs to ensure that we're, achieving it the most cost-effective way. So customers that implement a scheduling optimization solution nearly always see a drastic reduction in cost to run their services industry, their service element, because often this allows people that previously were doing manually scheduling or moving things around through spreadsheets or whatever it may be, they're able to actually focus on either managing their teams or managing customers, and actually to move to a more of a value-add role to the industry, to the business. The other thing is you get better customer satisfaction, because remember, this solution is looking at, how do I make sure I get the higher priorities done first and we meet our SLAs? Your customers just want their work done when you said it would be. So this helps you achieve this. Because also we're optimizing how we allocate our resources, and the construction area is it's in a field where there is skill shortages. The idea is that you can manage, or you're getting the most out of the resources that you have. So rather than them being in the car for 2 hours to go to something that someone else could have done that's 15 minutes away, you're making the most out of the resources that you've got. So how this can extend then even further is that we can also link this into how our project management capability works inside of Dynamics. So you can see here I've just got some visualizations of this, and we could have a project plan running inside of Dynamics that would then ultimately be driving some field service activities, or they could all be field service activities. So, maybe before you start a construction project, you would go and do a site assessment. So you need to go and allocate someone who has those skills, and you need to go allocate for it to be done by this period. And before that can be done, perhaps nothing else can be done on the project. So you'd put that in as a task, and you'd indicate that as being something that needs to be allocated out to the field service team, or to allocated out to someone who had field service capabilities. This, on completion of that, you would then have that fed through to your project plan. So you can see here there's a different color here being displayed because I'm being alerted when this task is being partially completed or fed through. The other thing that this allows you to do is also timesheets and expenses. So, if you've got a mobile workforce that's, moving around on the road, the last thing they hate doing is expenses, or filling in a spreadsheet for expenses, or coming in on Friday evening and having to do their expenses, or on the weekend. We have a great mobile app that allows them to capture the expense with a photo, record the details against against the expense category, and submit it straight away. With our field service element customers, the schedule board that's driving their activity and the jobs that they need to complete, what we're able to do is as they complete those jobs, so for example, as Eric, he completed the job, we could then go and automatically update his timesheet. So when he would come to the end of the week and be viewing his timesheet, he would just be looking at the gaps that were there. So, it's not just efficiency in regards to saving costs for your business and for your customers, but, it also helps your employees because, most employees want to be doing their job, not paperwork. Okay, so that gives sort of a very, brief overview of what what the field service offering is from Dynamics and how we feel that it can fit within the project in the construction industry. So based on that, why then eBECS? What's our advantage? So ultimately, we've done it before. We have proven implementation experience. So we've implemented field service and project service with a number of other customers. We understand, the reason that you need these efficient field service solutions implemented. Now, because we've done it before, what we have is a template approach to actually delivering these projects. Now, the reason for that, every business is different, but 80% of what you're after is probably the same as every other business. And you've also purchased a product. The Microsoft product, as you hopefully saw before, is very feature-rich. There's a lot of functionality there. So our template approach for implementing these solutions is about a product-first approach. So what that means is that we make sure that you get the most investment out of what you've bought. Out of the kit that you've bought, we're going to make sure that we've implemented as much of that as we can and adapted it to your business before we start going and developing or making large configuration changes. Because what we found as a business is once customers understand what they've purchased and understand how the system works out of the box with their data in it and imported into the system and some of their configurations, what maybe at the beginning was perceived as a gap actually isn't, because they understand how the process works and they can work with the system. Also, why that's very important is there's a very rich roadmap. for these solutions at Microsoft. It's a very large investment. So we don't want to be spending time configuring or developing something where we know if it's coming out in 6 months or 3 months, whatever it may be. This product has a 6-month release cycle, so there's a lot of new stuff coming all the time. But what we have done is we do have ISV or IP solutions or accelerators that do fit on top of the field service offering. Now, the reason for this is because we've implemented it before, and we've got many customers out there who we're currently doing implementations on. When customers ask for something and we're also getting an ask for on another project or something like that, what we would prefer to do is build that solution once to meet all our customers. And that's really what our field service solution is doing. You know, our consultants don't want to build the same thing over and over again, and we also don't want to charge our customers for the same thing over and over again. So we've built a field service accelerator that extends on these out-of-the-box features. And you can see there's a list of some of the functionality that's there. It's very much driven around us working in the industry and what field service customers are interested in, the sorts of requirements they have, and then we're extending on it. We continue to release, we continue to enhance it. It always fits in with the next release of it always fits in with those 6 monthly releases. And we're continuing to always enhance on it so that we can keep providing to our customers even more than what you're getting out of the box. And the whole goal of this is that we can get you live sooner. We want you to get you live sooner with a feature-rich platform. The other key element that we have built out, which I'm actually going to do a little bit of a demonstration on, is a site assessment survey functionality, which I think is actually probably potentially quite a valuable piece of functionality in the construction area or anywhere that really is doing, constantly going on site and needing to do any sort of level of audit or checking, any sort of survey assessment. It's really quite valuable. So what we've done is we've built in hopefully everyone can see my screen here. What we've done is we've built in a solution on top of Dynamics that allows you to, on the mobile client, create survey templates or site assessment templates that you can fully control yourself. We train you in about half a day or a couple of hours on how to create the templates. And what you can do then is you can create these templates for all sorts of site visits that you might do. And how they work is they're driven by a question and answer approach that then drives the next question. So here I'm just doing a risk assessment. So have you signed in? No, and I get alerted. You must sign in to the site before you can start work. Okay, well I better go sign in. Okay, yes, I've signed in. Is it safe to get to the work area? No, I get another alert. So I keep going, and this is driving the questions that I'm being asked. And then I can proceed through the entire assessment. What I can also be doing is this can be driving as well, different types of questions and actions off it. It can also be executing potentially workflows within CRM, because maybe how I answer something is driving how I, an alert perhaps to my foreman or to, whoops, I just dropped my phone, is providing an alert to someone or something like that. And it's ensuring that I answer information exactly as I should and then driving the next question. The construction industry is really quite complicated, so different types of jobs require you to be answering information, in a different way. So, this allows you to guide your resources through a guided process and that can be changing for each job to control, that they're answering everything correctly. So I can take a screenshot. I can take a photo, and I can associate photos to questions. This is just a bit of an example. So here, what I've done is I've done a risk assessment, and then I can also say, look, you've got to get your signature afterwards as well. So I've captured this risk assessment from this resource. I've also captured their signature, and I can save that back into the system. So what that's done is it's also able to then, in the back end of the system, it's generated a report. So I can also then, if I want to, email that report out to the customer. So that is pretty much all I wanted to cover in the session. It's quite a short period, but I hope you got a taste of what we're able to achieve. Now, what I've just got on the end of this slide here is that we have a online training site at ebecs.thinkific.com, and it has a lot more videos about our field service accelerator and field service and project service that you can go and watch for free, and you can, if you want some more information, or you can go to ebecs.com to find out more. So, Keith, any questions come through on the talk while I've been going?
Sorry, Tash, I was muted. No questions. If there are any follow-up questions, we'll reach out on email and ensure that you've got any content that's requested. But thanks ever so much for
Thanks, guys.
the webinar, and thank you, Tash.
Bye, everyone.